Hello everybody, welcome to another Nephilim rebuild. Today we're going to fight the Mongol Horde again as Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. As always, keep in mind that these videos are about capturing the spirit of the character rather than capturing their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's start with ability scores. Using point buy will make Strength and Dexterity 14, we need to use a sword and a bow. Next we'll make Intelligence 13, Jin reverse engineers how to make black powder. We'll make Wisdom and Constitution 12 and Dumb Charisma. He has a hard time getting people to listen to him. For race, he's still a variant human. We'll put our increases into Strength and Intelligence and take the Athlete feat. We'll also take Perception for a skill and speak Common and Sylvan. Because yokai. We're going to take the soldier background this time, seems more fitting considering his dad took him to war with him. We'll get military rank, athletics and intimidation, land vehicles, and chess. Never played shogi, but it sounds similar to chess. Did I say that before? Moving on to class, we're going to start off as a fighter. We can strength and constitution saving throws, pick acrobatics and survival, and be proficient with all weapons, armor, and shields. At level 1 we get second wind in our fighting style, taking blind fighting. This will come in handy later, and Jin can basically see through walls. At level 2 we'll get action surge, and at level 3 we'll get our martial archetype. We're going to go with samurai again, getting performance to recite haikus, and getting fighting spirit for a heavenly strike. We're now going to multi-class to rogue, getting thieves tools and stealth, so far so sane. At level 1 we get sneak attack and thieves cant, and take expertise in stealth and perception. At level 2 we'll get cunning action, at level 3 we'll get steady aim and our roguish archetype. We're going to go with arcane trickster this time, getting mage hand ledgered main. There's actually an Omori charm that retrieves arrows for you, so that's what this is for. We'll also get Mage Hand and 2 other cantrips. We'll take Minor Illusion to throw a wind chime and Poison Spray for the poison dart. I used to think this was a cone because of the short range. Good thing the 1D&D version is getting fixed. We'll also get 3 spells, taking Fog Cloud for a free spell for a smoke bomb. This is where blind fighting comes in. The trick with spells like Fog Cloud and Darkness is that everyone gets advantage and disadvantage on attack rolls because no one can see each other, so it cancels out. Let me explain that better. If an enemy can't see you, you have advantage on attack rolls against them, but if you can't see them, you have disadvantage. And this works both ways. But with blind fighting, you can see them, so you don't get the disadvantage and they don't get the advantage. We'll also take Silvery Barbs, which is just a good spell to have, and Color Spray, which will basically do what Fog Cloud is already doing. Look, I'm sure there's some situation where you'd rather use Color Spray, but I can't think of it. I'm only taking it because the spells I wanted to take are all transmutation, not illusion or enchantment. Gonna be honest, I don't actually like Arcane Trickster, and it's because of the spell limitations. Back to fighter, at level 4 we'll raise our strength, at level 5 we'll get extra attack, and level 6 we'll cap our strength. The neat part about sneak attack is that you don't actually have to use dexterity, just have a finesse weapon. And that's all the fighter we need. Back to rogue, at level 4 we'll raise our intelligence and draw a blank. At level 5 we'll get uncanny dodge, and level 6 we'll expertise survival and acrobatics. At level 7 we'll get evasion and take Crown of Madness for a hallucination dart. We'll also swap our blank for suggestion to demand a standoff. Now this spell says you can't order someone to do something obviously harmful, but Crawford has confirmed that this basically means you can't order them to hurt themselves directly. And since this spell suggests a knight giving up her horse to a beggar as a reasonable order, challenging someone to a duel also seems reasonable. Gonna be honest, there's a version of this build where I took Paladin to get Fine Steed, Compelled Duel, and Elemental Weapon, but that would have just left me with less spells to choose from for Arcane Trickster. At level 8 we'll raise our intelligence and take Magic Missile for a free spell for some kunai. At level 9 we'll get Magical Ambush, and at level 10 we'll cap our intelligence. We'll also take Green Flame Blade for Incendiary Oil and draw a blank. At level 11 we'll get Reliable Talent and draw another blank. At level 12 we'll take the Tough Feat, and at level 13 we'll get Versatile Trickster. We'll also take Phantom Steed to get our horse and swap a blank for Fear. Can't get a true ghost stance, but we can get the fear factor going. Lastly, at level 14 we'll get Blind Sense, which we basically already have with blind fighting. But we'll also take Shatter for our last free spell for a black powder bomb. We'll also swap our last blank for Enemies Abound for another hallucination dart. Use Crown of Madness if you can afford to stay hidden and spend your action every turn, and use this if you're in a fight. And then with level 20 we finally have our modifiers. We'll take a long sword and a short sword for our katana and tanto respectively, a longbow, a breastplate for the ghost armor, and a component pouch. Our AC is 16, our movement speed is 30, and our average HP is 170 with 60, 10, and 14d8 hit dice. And with that, we are done. Now what can this build do? To start, we've got a good mix of combat and stealth, both of which we can augment with magic. Our best move by far is to drop a fog cloud and then get a bunch of green flame blade sneak attacks off. We can also turn our enemies against each other to level the playing field. And even though our dexterity is abysmally low for a rogue, reliable talent means we're still rolling a minimum of 24 on stealth checks. For weaknesses, our spellcasting is extremely limited with very few slots to work with, which means we have to be strategic and use our resources wisely. In other words, we have to play like it's Ghost of Tsushima. And even though our stealth is fine, our ranged attacks suffer from our low dex. Also, I know someone's gonna ask, so let me explain why I didn't use Kensei Monk. Simply put, armor. Jin has about 2 or 3 sets that could be considered clothing instead of armor, and the Ghost's armor isn't one of them. So either way, we'd still be using strength for our katana. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description. $1 a month gives you 2-day early access to all of my videos and a chance to vote for future characters and access to all of my homebrew content. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments, and I'll see you all next week when I make Sub-Zero for Mortal Kombat.